everybody, my name is Carole and this is my channel Sew Carole, and today you are joining me. I'm back in my sewing room after a wonderful week away last week. You are joining me for #Friday Sews. Now this was created by Jen, who has the most amazing channel, Today in Zen's Sewing Room. I don't think I ever say that actually. I say check out all the other YouTube creators, see who's new, but I forget to say how wonderful and how talented Jen is on her channel. Honestly, she's just a professional. Anyway, thank you Jen for starting this so we can all come together on a Friday and chat about what we've been doing. I have managed to do a little bit of sewing since I came back. I've got some fabric to show you. Now the fabric will be from when I was away in Mallorca, from the fabric store there. I will say also that they do ship internationally, because when I was saying to the lady about how wonderful their prices were, she said, oh no, you can buy from your country. So they do ship internationally. Anyway, I will start first of all with what I am wearing. I don't know if you remember this. This was the dress I had a big debate about. I think it was about February this year. My all-time favourite New Look 6619, where you can do the colour blocking. I have made this so many times in stripes and mixing and matching the top and the bottom. But this is the one that I was really never sure about. But today, it's perfect for today. It's a hot, humid day and it's just a lovely shift dress and just keeps me cool. So that is what I'm wearing today. Very controversial dress. You may have seen this week I put out a video I did a collab with Jen from One Girl Creates. She challenged me to make a patina blouse from Friday Pattern Company, because everybody was going through a stage of making them. So yeah, she challenged me to make it and I did. It is this blouse here and I absolutely love it. I will say I didn't want to love it, but I do, and I will be making another one. I'll put the link to her channel below and also her version of that if you haven't already seen it. I did sew a couple of things this week, and you know what it's like after a holiday. You come back and it's almost like you've got to get started again. I was initially, for the first half an hour in my room, I was a bit lost about what I wanted to sew. But I will say one of the pieces I took away on holiday with me, I'll put a picture in. It was a dress I made a couple of years ago and I wore that a lot more than I thought I would. In fact, I really loved it. It's New Look 6650. It's a very easy dress to make. It's only got 4 pattern pieces. Yep, sleeves, the tie, front and a back. It's so easy and quick to make. I thought, I know, I'll make another one of those. So I did. And I used the lovely viscose jersey that I bought not long ago with the daisies on it. I'm really, really happy with this dress. It's just a throw-on jersey dress that you can just wear with white trainers or whatever, but I'm really happy I made that. When I made it before, luckily I put a warning on the envelope. I made it last time in a 10. I make all the dresses in a 10 and then normally all right, but this one I put definitely size up. So I did this time. I went to a 12. Also, it is really slim fitting, and in the back there should be 2 fisheye darts, and I actually warned myself to, well, the other one I made was a 10. Luckily it was an ITY, so it was a bit more stretchy than this, but I took out the fisheye darts in the back and I have done this time, and there's a tiny bit of floppiness but nothing to worry about, and I do think I got a good fit. I kept it as a 10 at the top and the shoulders because then it would just not fit me right on the shoulders. So I just kind of graded it down to a 12 from here. So I'm really happy with it. Love the fabric. I just can't get enough of the fabric looking at it. So that was a very successful first make back from my holiday. The second thing that I sewed this week was kind of a pre-runner to making this flower girl dress that I've got to make for a 3-month baby when it arrives for October. Now, I know October's miles away, but I'm trying to get it all in motion, knowing exactly what I can do. Now, I did make a dress. It's very controversial again. I might change it slightly, but Trish from Pinky's Farm wonderfully sent me this little pattern here, New Look 6628, and it has got a basic dress with a bit of colour blocking on the bottom. Now, it comes from size newborn, and I thought I would make up a dress in the newborn size to see how big it actually turned out to be. I managed to buy a dress that was 0 to 3 months from a shop that we used for all our children, so we know the sizing is quite accurate. When I made this dress, it is the same size as a 0 to 3 months, so the newborn is the same, so I know it's going to come up big, which is brilliant because I know kind of what I've got to work with. So I made up this dress. Now, it was me just playing around, to be honest. But I had this lovely, I made it in jersey, even though it's not for jersey, I did make it in jersey. And I had this lovely rainbow fabric. And I put a contrasting band on the bottom. Now, there is green in those rainbows, so it did tie up, but I'm not too sure at all. I think it looks too heavy as a colour. I'll come back to what I did in a minute. I actually put 2 poppers on the back. Should have been buttons. We can't have buttons with little children. So, oh, thread. Hasn't gone through the perfection stage, you know, where you've got the testing. So I put the 2 poppers on, and I discovered the problem I've got with my poppers. I was lying in bed one night and I suddenly thought, I wonder if the poppers are actually, the popper machine, the pliers I've got is out of alignment. And I had a look at it, and yes, it is. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but can you see it is just out of alignment? And I'm only talking a millimetre, but that is enough to make one of the prongs of the metal poppers not sit properly. So I ordered another pair. That's my old pair, can't get them confused, and yeah, managed to do poppers successfully. Brilliant. Now, because I put that heavy green on the bottom, I then made a headband, and I used Simplicity 8304. Little headband, never made one before for a baby, but I made it in the green. So you could sort of tie it all together like that. As I said, I'm not sure. It was only me playing around anyway, and I'll show it to my daughter-in-law when I see her in a couple of weeks, see what she thinks. Or I may just change that and put some pink on the bottom. But yeah, that's how I had so much fun making that, honestly. It was great. Now, I'll also show you what I started to make, which I haven't finished yet. And I'm probably one of the last ones to sew this, but this is McCalls 7948, and I don't often do McCalls. But I was watching Jackie from The Sewing Pastor's Wife last week, and she was talking about ruffles and ladies over a certain age wearing ruffles. Do you know, Katie comes over to my house quite often in a ruffled dress, and I'm so envious of it. I've got nothing like it. And after talking about Jackie was saying, are we too old for it at our age? I don't know. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give it a go. So this is it here. This is halfway through. This is a fabric I got at Hobbycraft a couple of weeks ago before I went away. So at the moment, I have a lovely little top, as you can see. I'm going to make it with the sleeves. So I've just got to attach the bottom ruffle, because I'm going to make that version there with the sleeves. So yeah, at the moment I have a lovely little sleeveless top. So worst case scenario, if I don't like it, it can revert back to a top again. So that's another thing I've been doing this week. So what fabric did I buy when I was away? I got it from this shop, Reeves and Casals. They have shops in Spain, Mallorca, 2 in Spain, Seville, Barcelona and Malaga. Wonderful shop. They sell a lot of that, I want to say ICAT fabric, but I think it's ECOT, where they put a resistance, don't they? And they dye this fabric and the resistance doesn't take the colour. It's a different way of doing it. So to remember my little visit there, they had just this little purse out of this ECOT fabric. So had to buy that just as a little reminder. But what fabric did I get? I got 4 pieces of viscose because it was a really reasonable price and I knew it was light to bring home. First, and I think my favourite, is this one. I love red. Red is quite a good colour on me. It's just this lovely, it's probably slightly thicker, not quite a chalet, but it's a viscose. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I only got 1 metre of it, so it'll just be a top. But that was really nice. 2, another piece I just kept going back to and back to. This is a beautiful viscose chalet. And look at that blue and white print. It's almost like a paisley print, but I'm not sure, but it looks very clean, very crisp. Feels beautiful. I think I got 1.5 meters of that one. So that was lovely. This one, I think you might have seen in the photos. This is I think it's a viscose crepe, actually. It's very floaty, you can hear it. But you might have seen it in the photos, the lady cutting it for me. But oh, isn't that pretty? That's really lovely, drapey, pink and white flowers. Yeah, I was really happy with that one. And the last one is bright. I have to admit, it's super bright. And it might be that I make something for my daughter from it rather than me. And I know there's going to be quite a few of my fellow YouTubers that will like this. But look at those colours. Look at the greens and the purples and the blues. I mean, it's just stunning, isn't it? It was a viscose chalet. I think it looks like I got 1.5 meters of that. No idea what I'm going to make with any of these. It might be that I keep them for a bit longer. But yeah, that's my favourite. Let's hope my daughter doesn't see that and say I want it, but it might be a little bit too bright for me, but I couldn't resist it. Just after I came back from holiday, I had my first box, my new subscription box from My Sewing Box in Bournemouth, now in Dorset. Now this is a local company to me. They're a mother and daughter business and I felt I wanted to support them. So I've said goodbye to my Beyond the Pink Door boxes. I've loved them, but I'm now going to go with My Sewing Box. And I have to admit, I have peeked to see what was in it, because basically I couldn't wait. But anyway, so they do a collection. You can either choose from a fat quarters box, a wovens box, or a mix, or a stretch. And I've gone for the stretch. Now they are a little bit more expensive, but I think you do get a little bit more fabric. You always get the Gutermann thread, nice quality. Plus they give you a pattern idea booklet, but I'll show you more when I get into it. So this is my first one. Oh, you can choose to have it monthly or bi-monthly. If you pay up front for a selection, you can save a bit of money. So anyway, I thought I'd try a box. So here it is. And what have I got inside? Now, I was a little bit surprised and I hadn't really thought it. I automatically thought I was going to get a jersey or a ponte. But this month, they're going to test me. They have given me the most amazing fabric here. It's a jersey, kind of a jersey lycra. Look at that colours. They've also given me a contrasting navy. So I definitely have something to put it together with. What have they suggested? Well, what I like is they've actually suggested indie patterns, but also Big Four, obviously, which you know is my favourite. So this month you've got some swim and sport knit in a plain and a print, which can be used separately or together, or however you want to do it. So they've suggested some patterns. Obviously they've suggested swimwear, or a jacket, or leggings. Now I actually have that legging pattern, sports leggings. Now I made some for a collab a few months ago. I absolutely love them actually. I did a lot of it on my cover stitch machine. So I'm going to show this to my daughter first because she might want a pair, but if not, I'm probably going to make some more exercise wear out of this, because that is really smart together. Probably won't get around to doing it for a little while, but Yeah, they do suggest swimwear. I tried to make a costume once. I've got it in the cupboard halfway through. It looks dreadful, so I just put it away. So they give me a good chunk of that. They've given me some Mariflex Gutermann thread. Amazing stuff. If you've ever used it, if you sew with knits, try and get hold of some of this stuff, because it means that you can straight stitch on the machine without any risk of the stitches popping. So much easier than zigzag. And they've given me some clear elastic if I chose to make a swimwear, which I probably won't. Nah, not going to. But yeah, so thank you very much. Yeah, I was a little bit thrown when I first opened it, but the colours in that are just amazing. So what am I going to be getting up to next week in the sewing room? Obviously I'm still working on that flower girl dress in my head, because I've got an idea currently running through my head, and I've ordered some fabric, so I just want to have a play with that. I know I've got a lot of time, as I said, but when I have ideas I like to try and run with them, and rather than put them aside. So yeah, I'm gonna have a go at that. Also, before I went away, I just happened to see Viv Mom sewing her makes for May, and she was wearing a top which I fell in love with, and she has a lot to blame for most of the size of my pattern collection. But she made this top here, Simplicity 9477. Now she talked about it being a certain designer. I'm sorry, I don't know who that was, but who's actually designed this pattern, but she had this top here. I fell in love with it. I ordered this pattern before I went away, and I've got it. So I've got a couple of pieces of viscose challis that I'm going to make it up in, a couple of bits I've had left over from other things. So I'm going to try and make that top. The only thing I worry about is if it's going to be a little bit too oversized on me, but I'm definitely going to give it a go because it looked so wonderful on her. I have been asked, and I'm really honoured and excited about this, to take part in a sewing bee challenge with 3 other YouTube creators. I'm not going to talk about that now because it will go on too long, but please watch out for a video on that probably next week. The challenge, there's 4 of us that are going to challenge each other to do some sewing bee type challenges. If you're watching anywhere else in the world, we do have that wonderful programme, the Great British Sewing Bee, and I so wish they sent it out across the world, especially in America. I really wish you could watch it because it's the most brilliant programme, and it gets so many new sewists inspired every year to pick it up and give going sewing a go. But anyway, we're going to do a similar kind of challenge just between the 4 of us, but I'll talk about that in a separate video next week. As I said, we had a wonderful week away, and you can tell I've had a good week away because I always get these white lines here, what I call my zebra neck, and that is because I've spent the week probably head down reading a book, sunbathing. We did some walking, but I did read 3 books, and I love it when we go away where I can just get so absorbed in a book without, you know, reading a couple of pages a night. It just doesn't work for me. But when we're away on a holiday like that and I could just read and read and read and read, it's brilliant. Downside is I always get the white lines on my neck. But yeah, we had a great week away, and obviously the photos at the end will be a few of our holiday snaps. This weekend's a very quiet one. My husband's got a gig. The weather is meant to be amazing, so hopefully we can get down to the beach, maybe paddle in the sea. Is it a bit early? I don't know. Obviously we swam a lot when we were away, but that's the Mediterranean Sea, which is considerably warmer than the English Channel. But anyway, we shall see. Will this be the first swim of the year? I know lots of people have already been in, so yeah, let's see how we get on. I think that's it for this week. I feel it's been quite a messy one this week, Friday Sews. I hope you've all followed along. I've just had some different things to talk about. Topic for discussion though, I will say that I've got a bin in the corner of my room where I throw all my scraps in. Now these aren't the good size scraps, these are just the little pieces. And in the end, when the bin is full, I then take it to my local charity shops where they sell it for rags. When I was emptying the bin today, it's almost like a sort of memory bin actually, because it goes back quite a way, and it's only when you go through the bin that I realise how many things I've made. And I was sort of putting all these scraps into a big carrier bag thinking, gosh, I made that, and I remember making that, and it was incredible. It's like all these memories come flooded back by all these scraps. Now the bag is sat in my garage waiting to go, and it's like parting with all my memories. But yeah, the scraps have got to go somewhere. So what do you all do with your little scraps? I hope, like me, that you can pass it on somewhere that actually gets benefit, or maybe you use them to stuff soft toys. I've heard about that in the past, things like that. But yeah, mine going off to the charity shop. But yeah, a lot of memories in that bin. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. It's been wonderful to chat with you in the comments. I always love hearing what you've been up to, or if you've made any patterns. I was amazed when I did the Patina blouse, how many of you had the pattern but not necessarily made it, or actually made a few versions of it. So that was incredible. I will see you all very soon. Look out next week for some sort of bonus videos. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again. Have an amazing weekend.